Hey, fight fans! We're back for another Caveman's Corner with your host, Jeff.
Captain Caveman!
Tens. How's it going, everybody? Today I have in studio Val Asspaas. How's it going, Val?
Good. How are you?
Good. That's not really Valerie's whole name. Maybe she could tell us what her real name is.
It's Valerie Masai Asspaas. Now I'm married now.
Where did the Asspaas come from?
It came from you, Caveman. Came up with it one day before I got the Velociraptor nickname.
Yeah, I'm pretty good with nicknames, I think. I came up with some good ones. Asspaas is really good. I think that would catch on if you use it.
You forgot the whole thing, though. I thought it was Vicious Valerie Asspaas.
It
That was
was.
going to be my fight name.
It was. That's crazy. I would be scared if I heard that. I think you'd have Mickey Gaskins problems and come out with some dirty shorts or something. So I had you in. I brought you in today because you got a big announcement that you haven't really announced anywhere on social media. What do you got going on in a couple weeks?
Oh, yeah. I'm fighting in a couple weeks for FCP. That's Full Contact Productions for the 125-pound title against Durant.
Cassandra Durant?
Yeah, Cassandra Durant. I remember her last name because it's actually the name of a Pokemon. That otherwise I wouldn't remember it.
She fights in the orange gear, right? She always got orange gear on?
I don't remember, man. I don't know a whole lot about this opponent. I should probably look it up before I fight. I know she's a kickboxer. She's got to be a solid fighter. She's fighting for the title for FCP. I just train like I'm fighting anybody, though.
She fought Kristen's last opponent, that really tall girl.
Yeah.
And she was head kicking that girl in the head over and over and over again. That girl didn't really have an answer for it.
Yeah.
So Kristen wasn't so much for throwing a head kick since she was about, a foot shorter than that.
Right.
But you better look out. You got some head kicks coming. Keep those hands
All right.
up.
Yeah, you know it.
I actually probably know your opponent a little bit better than you since I already
do.
studied her a little bit because I've been trying to get her matched up with Kristen a little bit because we almost fought her at
really?
25 before. But Kristen wasn't able to make the cut, so I kind of looked
That's
into her.
a tough cut for her.
Yeah. So sorry, Cassandra, but I might have to give up some of your secrets today after we're off the air. So
Give me
the
the
other
scoop.
opponents.
Give me the scoop.
Another thing that I wanted to bring you in to talk to you about is you were one of the first females in the area to start fighting. Can you talk about how you got into fighting?
Well, I've been doing martial arts my whole life. I started doing Isshinryu karate when I was about 8 years old. And
Where did you do Isshinryu at?
I started over at Bill Adams.
I went there too, and I was at Bill Adams for a little bit. All right, keep going. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I was there. Then when I went away to college, I started getting into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I just Google searched dojos near me, and the first thing that popped up happened to be a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu studio. I walked in, and it was pretty much love at first sight.
Did you know what you're getting into?
I had absolutely no idea. I didn't even really know what MMA was. I just liked to compete and compete at the highest level. I always enjoyed sparring and karate, and I really just kind of stumbled into MMA. I didn't even see my first UFC fight until I started getting into the training aspect of it and starting to see what it was all about.
Where were you training jiu-jitsu at that point?
At that point, I was at Grappling Unlimited in Hawaii under Egan Inoue.
That's awesome. So you were with a big UFC guy, and you didn't even really know what MMA was.
Yeah, I mean, it was great though. I learned a lot there. Obviously, it was a tough gym. It was no guard pullers there, that's for sure.
Every time you pull guard, a baby dies somewhere. So don't pull guard if you're listening to your jiu-jitsu fan. Babies die every time you pull guard. It's ruining the world.
The only time I pull guard is when it's full close guard, for the most part. I like to play stand-up. You know that.
You pulled guard on me before.
Yeah,
Babies die. Babies were injured in the filming of that shot.
Okay.
I saw that meme once. I love it. I can't stop talking about it. So everyone that pulls guard, I make fun of them all the time. I tell all the kids that in kids class too, and maybe some will believe me, so maybe they won't pull guard.
You can't be telling kids that, Caveman. Come on now.
I don't want any guard pullers. Matt Flores always pulls guard. He's going to get him hurt. He's too little to be pulling guard against those giant guys. So anyways, can you talk about life on the island? I know a lot of people think Hawaii is this awesome destination spot for vacation, but it may not be the best place for white people to live. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Well, that I disagree with as far as the racial thing goes. it's less of a racial divide and more of a
Native to
have
the
a-
island.
yeah, native, not just native to the island, but if you were born there and you grew up there, I mean, let's look at Buffalo for example. Imagine that all of a sudden Buffalo just became the new hot spot, and there were just millions of people pouring in every year, and they're all trying to take a piece of Buffalo home with them. They're all, I mean, they're spending money, and it's a good thing. But if you look at the history of Hawaii, it has a pretty contentious past. Right now, I believe the U.S. military owns 25% of the island, including the smallest island, Kaho'olawe, which used to be...
You could tell you've been in Hawaii because no normal person could say that. It's like Cheektowaga.
yeah, I mean, it's a pretty simple language system. It's only got a few consonants and a few vowels, but it's really complicated. The grammar's crazy. I took Hawaiian 101. Man, I like to think of myself as pretty good with languages, but Hawaiian is really, really complex. But I can pronounce things. Anyway, just if you want to visit there, just respect it and know that you can't just take a piece of it home with you. There's not a whole lot of it left. It's a small area. If you respect it, then local people are not going to harass you or anything. But
What do they call the non-native Hawaiians?
well, they have a word for white people, haole,
Yeah.
which it's not a derogatory term. It actually comes from when the first Europeans landed in Hawaii, and they had never seen white people before. Everybody they'd seen up until that point had brown skin. So they thought that they were ghosts or spirits. So haole actually means without breath. It kind of means ghost.
So like me, they don't need to breathe and they're getting choked.
Yeah. You're the hardest person to choke.
That's not true.
Yeah, no, you are. Like, you can't choke the caveman. Like, it doesn't happen. Like, I just don't think he needs oxygen to go to his brain.
Schultz is tough to choke too.
Yeah.
Mike Schultz. I
Yeah.
think we're about equal.
Yeah.
It's the tall, skinny white kid thing.
Yeah,
It's
what
just
is
tough
with
to choke
that?
guys. When you don't have any muscles, it's hard to. Actually, Mike's got some muscles, but I don't have any muscles, so I'm really hard to choke.
I don't know. You might have a little bit more muscle than Schulte.
I don't know. You ever see Schultz when he's not eating McDonald's? He's pretty ripped up. It's just he covers it with McDonald's. Val's drinking.
Tea.
Yeah.
Drinking tea. I got a fight coming up now.
Yeah. If we had cameras, you could see it. So it was like your turn to talk, and you're like, nah, I'm just teasing. So what makes the Hawaiian so tough? I mean, every Hawaiian you ever seen in UFC is like tough as balls. Or actually, that's not a very good saying because balls aren't very tough.
No,
like,
they're not.
Vaginas are much more tougher than
those
balls.
are a lot
Yeah.
tougher.
They
Yeah.
take a beating and they keep going. So the Hawaiians are tough as vaginas.
Damn straight they are.
How do they get so tough?
Well, I think part of it just has to do with the history of MMA and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu came to Hawaii in about, I think it was the late 80s. So that was before the very first UFC ever aired. And of course, we all know that that's when Jiu-Jitsu really came to the forefront. So the islands had exposure to this art long before like the mainland did. So I think it's part of it's just an exposure thing, and just so many people are interested in it there. I feel like everybody and their brother at least trains or wants to fight. There's a lot of backyard gyms there. There's a lot of people that just put on the gloves and duke it out in their yards and then think they're fighters and go on these unsanctioned cards there. At least that's how it was. What was that? Like, I fought there in 2011, so that was like 6 years ago. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a little bit more regulated now, but yeah, you'd have a lot of backyard brawlers jumping in the cage.
As long as
And a lot of people from really prestigious gyms too. There's some stark competition out there. When I was there, and this was several years ago, there were several black belts just on the island of Oahu. So it's the gym that I trained at. I believe they opened in the early 90s. So they just have a rich history of competition and
and you're
combat.
very legitimate lineage, Come
Yeah.
on. Yeah. Let's talk about BJ Penn a little bit. What do you think about his last fight?
Oh, I didn't see it actually.
You didn't see him against Uriah? He
No.
got destroyed.
Yeah.
It wasn't looking good. He's got that old guy
It
going
must
on.
be. I mean, when you're getting up there in years.
Why are you looking at me like that?
No offense.
you're looking at the gray right in my beard. I know you are. Son of a bitch. It's not very nice, Val.
Hey, aren't you retired?
Actually, I'm trying to get on King of Cage.
I think that's awesome. I think you should.
We'll see if I can get matched up.
I know.
Anywhere between like 25 and 190, I'm pretty good, I think.
25, like 125.
Yeah, I think I can make it. Maybe.
I don't know about
35.
that.
35.
Okay, Caveman. Okay.
I wrestled 34 in college. I can make 35.
It's been a long time since college for you.
Yeah, they didn't have college back when I went to school. College was like 9th grade.
The prehistoric ages.
Yeah. So, anyways, we went from Hawaii and came back to Buffalo. What brought you back to Buffalo?
Several factors. But I think the primary thing is just that it's so expensive to live in Hawaii. I absolutely loved it out there. I still have dreams of moving back and living there someday, but it's just the cost of living is kind of prohibitive unless you have a really good setup there. I wasn't living in a great area at the time, and it just it wasn't a great situation. Yeah, I graduated. I got an awesome education there. And I loved it. I feel like I learned more about the world than I would have if I just went to UB or something. I'm going to UB now. I mean, not knocking UB, but
just the world experience, getting out there, seeing the world.
Yeah, and just being 18 and just getting out there to someplace that I'd never been before, knew nothing about, had no friends, no family, and just kind of starting from there. It was a great, it was the beginning of the great adventure, I suppose.
So you got back to Buffalo. How did you end up over? I started training with you at Buffalo BJJ. How did you end up there?
Well, when I was about to leave, me and my coaches were looking into, what the hell's going to be out in Buffalo for you, Val? Like, so they looked it up, and
You'd already fought by then, right?
Yeah, I had 3 fights at that point. I had 3 fights in 2011. I was scheduled for a 4th, but it fell through. Actually, that's another kind of a crazy story. But
you didn't eat her, did you?
No.
All right.
But yeah, so we researched it. The only black belt at the time in the entire city of Buffalo was Chuck Anzalone. So my coach said, "Hey, you better go over there because you're not going to learn from anybody else. If they're not black belts, you gotta learn
came
from a
from
black belt."
that Carlson lineage, and he's got legitimacy behind him.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm trying to get him on a podcast someday too. I think there'd be a lot of people listening, at least in this area.
Oh yeah,
Jesus,
that'll be interesting.
I know. He said lots of bad things. It'd be great.
Yeah, good thing you don't have to beep them out. It's not like real radio.
Yeah.
Right?
Whatever. He can say whatever he wants. You can say whatever you want too. So
all right,
it doesn't matter.
Cool.
Like all the bad words are okay.
All of them?
Well, anyone I can think of at least. Probably racial ones aren't going to be good.
Oh, I'm above that.
Yeah, I know that. I think Muhammad Abid's about to call from FCP. We're just waiting on this right now.
Great.
So that's why I've been a little distracted because I'm on texting with this guy. Everything's last minute with Caveman, so yeah, here he comes. I'm about to pause this thing so we can talk to him. All right, we got a call in. We got Muhammad Abid on. He's the one that puts on FCP. How's it going?
Good. How you doing, Caveman?
Good. I'm always doing good, man. Glad to finally get you on the show.
Absolutely. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So I got Val here with me. We're talking about how she just announced that she's fighting for you guys. So let's break down your card a little bit. How many fights you got?
So far, we're around 14 fights. My matchmaker Darren has been working real hard on them. I kind of been in and out with the matchups. I tend not to get too much involved with them until about the last week. Getting involved with them, but I know the main matchups as far as Cassandra Durant and Val title fight. I know that's a pretty big one for us.
How do you have that one breaking down?
I don't know much about Val. I think I've seen her fight maybe once before. I know Cassandra's more of a stand-up fighter, kind of goes into the karate.
She's got that crazy high head kick. She was kicking that really tall girl for you guys, man. Holy cow.
Megan, yeah, she fought Megan, and Chaos 11 in Syracuse.
Yeah, Megan Phillips. Yep.
Megan Phillips, yep, out of Toronto, and they banged hard, But I know the big thing with Cassandra is she does have heavy hands.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that fight at the hotel, man. That was a great show too.
Absolutely. So, it really depends on Val. Is she more as a stand-up? Is she a ground fighter? It can go either way. It could really go either way.
You better look out for Val. Val's just vicious. Her nickname used to be Vicious Valerie Asspaas, but she didn't like it. That's the one I came up with.
You know what? If she's a vicious fighter, then, I think I see this to be a really great fight. Possibly could be fight of the night.
Oh, it'll definitely be fight of the night. Girls always steal the fight of the night, and I promise she won't poop in her pants like Mickey Gaskins. I swear to God, that won't happen.
I'll try my best not to.
Absolutely. The biggest thing is going to be the nice about the show is we're going to have, obviously, Bug Rose and Pat Barry there, UFC vet and current number 4 strawweight in the UFC. So that's going to be pretty cool. They're going to be attending the fights. They're going to be doing a seminar earlier that morning. So we have a lot going on.
How do you get tickets for that seminar?
We have an online FCPfights.com. $25. It's probably be an hour and a half seminar, striking. Something pretty quick. Both of them are going to be doing the seminar, Bug Rose and Pat.
Wow, that's pretty cheap. $25 to get 2 UFC vets, you guys. So go check it out. FCPfights.com. Very easy to get your tickets. You just click on it, then you pick them up when you get there. Is that how it works?
Yep, everything will be right at will call. All the information's on the website. We try to keep things as cheap as possible, affordable for everybody. We're just here to kind of have a good time and have everybody having a good time along with us.
That's pretty cool. For you guys, man, you get to meet the UFC vets. I know you guys had Nick Diaz in. How did that go for you guys?
Oh, Nick Diaz was huge. That was huge. Great guy. His seminar was phenomenal. He was a different person in the seminar. He really got into teaching, different skill sets that he has, And I think that was the most comfortable I've seen him, was actually him teaching seminar.
He looked pretty comfortable in a parking lot smoking weed. I gotta say that. him and Scott Skinner were smoking it up in the car. They looked pretty comfortable. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Absolutely. The new thing we have for this show coming up is we actually got a local TV station on board with us. They're going to actually broadcast the show on 3 channels. On local Rochester. Also, they're going to have it on demand for, I believe, 60 days or 90 days.
Awesome.
So people can go back and watch it.
Val, you're going to be on TV again.
Sweet.
It's going to be on TV too. It'll air 2 weeks after the show.
I think you need a experienced commentator for your TV setup. So I volunteer if you guys.
Actually, Jeff, was kind of a last minute thing we got, just kind of signed. So I was actually in the midst of actually giving you a call and talking to you and doing something. So it was, like I said, all this stuff's kind of been last minute. But we're putting it together. We're pretty good with getting things done pretty quick.
All right. If Val's fighting,
a lot of people around us.
If Val's fighting, I'll be there. So you might as well just hook me up. I'll be there. I'm more than happy. I'll do it for you guys.
I got you, man. Absolutely. You're there. I told you that before. You're
all right.
a man with that.
Yeah, for sure. I want to be the face of MMA in this area. And it's an ugly face, so I got to work really hard to get it out there.
Another probably fight that's going to be, I would say, a great fight that night. We got the 125-pound title, Mag versus Zylal. You familiar with them?
Oh, Zylal from AST?
Yep.
Oh, that guy's a killer.
AST.
Yeah.
He's going to fight Maggie Allen from Victory MMA here in Rochester.
Oh, yeah, from up at the church, man. Them guys are tough. That Zylal kid puts on a fight every time. That fight with Billy, who do you think won that fight, to be honest? Let's get it out there. Who won that fight, Billy or Zylal? In your eyes. I know who won by the scorecards.
From a promoter standpoint, it's tough for me to say. I don't want to say it, to be honest with you. That was our first official commission fight that was sanctioned by the USMTA. All I can say is it was a hell of a fight.
I scored it a draw, to be honest with you.
Both banged it out. They both did their thing. They both banged it out. it's tough when it goes to the judges. You know, at the end of the day, if you don't want to go to the judges, you got to finish him.
Yeah. You guys can't do. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, I was saying it like you said. It's objective. When it goes to the judges, it's tough. You know, you got one judge seeing one way, and you got another judge seeing it another way. You know, so sometimes it's just the way it is.
Definitely. That fight is going to be worth the price of admission, man. 25-pounders are great fights. Not only that, Val's fight's always worth the price of admission. Wait till you see this guy. This is going to be the not guy, but wait till you see the female fight. They're going to steal this show for sure. What's the main event?
I'm still really working on that right now. I have a couple of possibilities. I don't want to discuss it now, and then we end up changing it, to be honest with you.
Oh, all right. Well, who's selling a lot of tickets then? Let's talk about another fight.
Well, you know what? At the end of the day, it's definitely you got to keep. You know, the person who sold a lot of tickets. At the end of the day, you know, you got to give them the respect out there. But we still have right now 4 title fights. At the end of the day, it could be 5 title fights that we end up having. So,
is Liam going to be on the show?
Say that again.
Is Liam going to be on the show? Is Liam fighting?
Liam is not fighting. Actually, Liam just signed. He signed his first pro debut, I believe, with one of the promotions where I don't know. They haven't got the contract yet, but he is going pro sometime in March.
Awesome. I'm gonna try and get him on the show.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna. I'm laughing because I'm gonna have a big fight on the show because I'm you know who I'm gonna have on.
You gotta get Solomon on the show.
Yeah, I'm gonna have
Solomon. Let him hash it out.
I'm gonna have Solomon. Yeah, I'm having Solomon on the show, and we're gonna call Liam, and we're gonna have him talk it out because I heard all this bad blood started over a girl, so I want to get all out of the way.
Hey, listen, man, it's all fun and games, but at this day they should be. You know, they're all professionals. You know, I think they should hash it out and just get over it and move on at the end of the day.
Yeah,
for
sure.
No animosity.
We've almost had a couple of outbreaks at your shows with them two guys, so you know that's always.
You know, it's just it's crazy that it's childish games at the end of the day. You know, it's all act professional, be professional if you want to become a professional at the end of the day. That's the way I look at it.
I don't know. Sometimes I would buy a ticket just to see them two argue at the show, so it might sell you some tickets to be honest with you.
Well, you know, we tried to make the Liam and Solomon thing happen for a while, but we couldn't get it to work. You know, we wanted to actually for the last show. We were right in front of Nick Diaz, but we couldn't get the matchup to happen. And at the end of the day, you can only do what you can do.
They're gonna run into each other someday as pros. Are you gonna put on some pro shows eventually?
To be honest with you, I was actually just down in New York City speaking with the commission. We're still have some time about doing that, but I'd say between now and the end of summer, possibly first part of fall, that we could possibly be doing a pro show.
Awesome. I know a female fighter that's sitting in studio with me that's looking for pro debut.
Chomping at the bit.
You know what, Caveman? I got into this MMA promoting business. It's going to be almost 4 years now. It's a big hobby of mine. It's huge. I love it. I love the people that we deal with, the fighters, the coaches, the fans. So it's all exciting at the end of the day. So we're not going to stop. We're going to keep pushing hard. We're going to keep putting on great shows, and keep moving forward with this,
For
we
sure.
Gotta keep stepping it up. Keep Western New York on the map here.
We got 125er Val Asspaas that's looking for a pro debut at 25.
Yep.
125. So if anyone's listening I know you're very well connected, so this podcast can get out there. So if anyone's looking for a 25-pounder that's going to put on a show, come check her out on February 4th at the Armory. See how awesome she is, and then go check her, sign her to a pro contract, man. She's chopping, and she's going to show off on the 4th.
Well, that sounds great, man. Definitely sounds great. Any way we can help, we'll help anybody out there. That's just the way we are.
For sure.
Matter of fact, if you have anybody who needs help getting pro debuts or whatnot, message me to my Facebook, and we'll definitely try to push them the right way.
All right, for sure. You guys are doing a show at the Armory, right? I don't want to misspeak.
Yep, it's at the Main Street Armory, correct. Yep, in Rochester, downtown Rochester.
And that's East Main Street for everyone coming from Buffalo, so you don't go to the wrong goddamn place like I did the first time. East Main Street. Make sure you put in is East Main Street in your GPS.
Absolutely. And once again, you go to our website, it has all the information, fcpfights.com. Or you can check us out on Facebook at Full Contact Production. We have all the info on there also. And looking forward, we're less than 2 weeks away to have this big show and see who's the best of the best.
Awesome. You said you wanted to do 3 fights, so what's your last fight? We're going to put it out there for you.
I'll say that again.
You said you wanted to have talk about 3 fights on the show, so you got your opportunity to talk about your last fight because C is going to be an awesome fight. We got Val. Val's going to be a great fight. This is going to be the fight of the night for sure.
The last fight I want to talk about was a 155 title, which was Morgan Gavinoff versus Donnie Ryan. I know I watched Donnie fight once. He fought at the Victory, we had at the Victory Church back in July. We had it for the MTV reality show we did out there, and that was a show that Emmy fought on.
Yeah, for sure.
And I've only seen him fight once. He's a well-rounded fighter. I know he used to train out of Bahrain Jiu-Jitsu up from Watertown, but he's residing now in Florida. He's training in Florida, so I know he's specifically flying down for this fight to Rochester, and I know. Morgan is coming off of a loss. I think should be a great fight.
Yeah, that's a good fight. Morgan's had a lot of success in your organization. Not only that, this is going to be a great fight. I actually know about this fight too because Morgan's one of my guys, so I've broken this fight down a little bit a couple of times. This is going to be a great fight.
Yeah, and I'm sure I'm sure Morgan has learned a lot from his mistakes or any mistakes he's made. I guess you only get better from your mistakes at the end of the day.
For sure. They're very evenly matched on striking. I think Morgan's got an advantage in the takedowns. And the jiu-jitsu, he's pretty good, but I think Morgan's got better finishes. I would say the other guy's a little bit better at jiu-jitsu, but Morgan's got better finishes. So it's going to be a great matchup. I can't really talk about this one too much because I'm excited about it, and I don't want to spoil our game plan. But this is going to be a great fight.
Absolutely. Well, at the end of the day, just everybody's all come out, check out the show. It's like I said, a big show, a lot of nice fights, and like I said, especially having Pat and Rose there. We got the meet and greets. Come hang out. We're going to have an after party where Pat and Rose are coming out to. So
where's the after?
And also we're going to have a whole new setup for the show with lighting and walkout. So it's going to be pretty exciting.
Where's the after party at? And are the UFC people going to be there?
I'm sorry, say that again?
I said, where is the after party going to be located at? And are the UFC...
The after party is going to be at TC Hooligan in Greece, New York, in the Greece Ridge Mall.
Caveman's all about getting those plugs out, so we got to make sure we plug everything that you guys do. So I'm all about the sponsors.
Yeah, I appreciate it, definitely. Now, they're one of our newest sponsors. We're going to do the weigh-in there on Friday at 6 o'clock, and also the after party is going to be there.
Val, Ashley Letourneau wears a bikini down to the weigh-ins. Are you going to wear a bikini for your weigh-ins?
I don't think so.
Yeah, they know what? We got some new people. We got a lot of new people on this card, so it's definitely going to be, a little different and pretty curious to see what happens.
This is going to be a great show. So the fighters have tickets now, right? Fighters have tickets now, right?
Oh, yeah. Almost all the fighters have tickets. They're out there selling. Support your local fighters.
So if you know a fighter, buy a ticket from them. So make sure you get a whole bunch of tickets from Val. If you don't know a fighter, just go on the website at FCP Promotions, right? Or FCP Fights.
Yeah, that's FCPfights.com. I have a lot of packages on there for like a meet and greet and a seminar. So just check it out. And if anybody needs any help, they can also email us at fcpfights@yahoo.com.
That's very great information. FCPfights.com is where you get the tickets at if you don't know a fighter. Make sure you check it out because this show is always awesome. Especially it's going to be on TV now. It's going to be great. And I can guarantee you the female fight is going to be off the hook because Val is a killer.
Absolutely.
And so is Cassandra. She's very tough. It's going to be great. I can't wait to see the stand-up, to be honest with you. I'm excited for that one. The Morgan fight is going to be crazy. And C. Lau is a Caveman family special. My wife loves him. That's one of her favorite fighters of all time. So the family will definitely be out there for this event.
Well, I appreciate you inviting me to your show, Caveman. Great talking to you guys.
Thanks a lot. Remember me on the TV side, man. They always need a color guy that knows fighting. Those TV guys
I
don't
got
know what
you.
the fuck they're talking about.
Definitely, I'm going to give you a call tomorrow, if that's good. So.
All right, I appreciate it, man. Thank you for your time. Thank you for coming on the
Thank
show.
you.
And this will be up probably in a couple of days, okay?
All right, appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Have a great day, man.
Yep.
Bye.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right, sorry about the connection. I'm not sure if it's my phone. Usually we use Ray's phone, and his phone kicks ass. My phone sucks. I got Sprint, and they're not so good. I'm very disappointed in their call service.
Yeah, me too.
You got Sprint too?
Sprint sucks.
They suck. They're as shitty as KeyBank. KeyBank sucks too. Don't use them either. Fuckers. They gave me a fake $100 bill, Val.
Get out.
And they wouldn't take it back.
No way.
For real. I'm going to do a whole podcast about that bullshit. But
Sounds like a conspiracy.
it was oh, man, I got that.
Against you.
Yeah, I know. Did we land on the moon, Val?
I don't know, man.
You
Did
think
we?
it's fake? It could be fake.
I think we land on the moon, though. I do.
I
I
don't
do
know.
think we
What
land
about
on the moon.
chemtrails?
What about I don't really have an opinion on that. I don't. It sounds kind of silly.
What about aliens?
Aliens, obviously.
Here? On
Yeah,
Earth?
well, probably. In like a Men in Black kind of way. Like, probably secretly. I mean, they might be operating at a level that we can't perceive. Like, they might be, like, on a level of time that's so sped up or so slowed down that we're completely unaware of their existence. I think it's possible.
I think you might smoke a little too much weed.
I don't know about that.
I don't know. What do you think about weed gummy bears?
Well, I think that's kind of a dangerous thing because gummy bears are what kids eat, and they're already having a lot of problems in Colorado about kids eating candies that have weed in them that they may or may not be aware that they have that in them.
I think your kids probably know.
Well, I mean, like little kids, though, I don't know. I think I was actually reading about the governor of Colorado when they legalized weed and how if he could have changed something, it would have been to regulate the edibles a little bit more strictly.
I think they can do that. I'm pretty sure they can always go back and modify the laws.
Yeah. Well, they should, because kids shouldn't be eating weed. Like,
There's a PSA from Valerie. Vicious
don't
Valerie
do
Asspaas.
drugs. It'll mess up your brain.
You might turn out to be a fighter.
Jeez. Yeah.
What do you think about marijuana being illegal by USADA? Do you think it should be or should not be illegal?
Well, I do not think that marijuana is a performance-enhancing drug by any stretch of the word.
You don't think it is?
I don't think so.
I think it's an advantage.
You think that smoking weed is an advantage in combat sports?
I do.
I think that it slows you down. It makes you not think about
Does
a
it-
fight. Like, it
that's-
makes you
that's my point.
sleepy and hungry.
What do you, when you come home, if it's illegal for some people to do and not for other people to do, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Here's my whole thing about it. I think it's performance enhancing because I think when you go home and you can smoke some weed, go home and relax. It
Yeah.
helps you deal with life. And one of the hardest parts about being a fighter, I think, is a mental game and dealing with life.
Mhm.
So when you can go home and relax and be all chilled out,
Yeah.
and other guys like punching holes in the wall because
Yeah.
you can't relax, I think it is performance enhancing. So I don't think weed should be illegal, and I think it should be allowed for all the fighters to relax. I think
Yeah.
it does definitely has medicinal purposes.
Absolutely.
So I think it is an advantage, though, a little bit.
I mean, I couldn't agree more with you on the statement that you just said, how it does kind of tone a fighter down. It allows their muscles to relax. If a fighter has an injury, it takes away pain from that injury without, going to the doctor and getting some codeine or something. Like, you don't need that, or even aspirin. I think that as a natural herbal medicine, I think that it can have a lot of advantages for fighters, but I do not think that it would serve the same purpose as, say, steroids. Because some fighters, and I know some fighters who do this all through fight camp, they will drink all through fight camp. I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they maintain weight throughout it, but I mean, if you think about it, it kind of has the same purpose. It relaxes them, but it's on a much more destructive level when you're putting in, especially for a fighter, when you're putting in those kind of calories.
It's caloric intake. That's a big problem, too.
Yeah. So.
And then when you're doing that, it dehydrates you, which
Yeah.
is you're already trying to do. So it's definitely not good. It's probably worse for your brain too, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So you think weed should be legal and steroids should be illegal?
Of course. I mean, I think that's going to be common sense in a couple of years.
You don't think steroids will make the fights better for the fans?
No.
Be
Come
two
on,
giant guys
steroids?
beating the shit out of each other. I think fans want to see that.
Well, maybe in the Caveman Fight League, you can have a drug free-for-all, and you can have all kinds of bizarre biological mutations just duke it out.
We have that already. It's over in Japan. You should know that, right? Your husband's
Oh,
from
man.
Japan. Haven't you ever seen any crazy steroid freaks over there fighting in the ring?
I have not.
You've never Bob Sapp?
Well, yeah. Oh, they still love Bob Sapp over there. I'm
Oh, yeah.
telling you, Japan's stuck in like the 90s. Like, they still love Sakuraba. They have no idea who George St. Pierre is. They have no idea who John Jones is, unless they're, training and into that world. But there was a period of time when Pride was really popular that it was, on in just about everybody's living rooms on New Year's Day. That's like their big holiday, and it was just synonymous with hanging out, watching Pride. But those days are gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of Pride and steroid freaks,
Yeah.
so you went from came back to Buffalo. You're training at Chuck Anselon's place. How did we end up over at Victory together?
Well,
Not saying that the Victory's steroid freaks, but there were some guys there that were that could have been abusing at the time. Hopefully, I'll have one on the show.
I don't know about that. I hope not. Anyway, I mean, I trained with these guys.
Sabino?
Just
I'm
about
talking about
every
Sabino.
day.
Sabino
Oh,
Scarpone.
Sabino?
Yeah.
Well, he fell off the face of the earth. Does anybody know what he's doing nowadays?
He's actually doing construction. I'm trying to get him to come on the show and talk
Okay.
about how the drugs actually affected his fight career and
Really?
kind of ruined him, because now he's not making testosterone and he can't take the testosterone replacement and fight as a pro.
Wow.
So it definitely affects his career. I'd like to have him
Yeah.
in and talk about it. So I'm trying to bring his name up just so he'll come on the show.
Yeah.
Whether it pisses him off or makes him feel sad, either way, as long as
Come
he comes
on
in
the
here.
show, Sabino.
Yeah, come beat me up in the studio. He used to beat me up in the ring, so
Yeah,
might as well
me
come to the
too.
studio.
I honestly, I'm just so, especially when it comes to teammates, I just get so gullible and trustworthy that I would, just think the world of them. Oh, of course they wouldn't do that. But, well, there you go. There's one example. But Victory, well, Buffalo BJJ was obviously in the name more of a jiu-jitsu studio. I've always been interested in doing MMA alongside training jiu-jitsu. And at the time, Victory MMA, this is the one that was based out of North Tonawanda, New York, was affiliated with Buffalo BJJ. So there was a lot of crossover. The people who trained at Buffalo BJJ that wanted to fight would go up to Victory MMA, and we would just beat the shit out of each other. Like, I look back on those days with so much nostalgia. Like, those were the days, when I think about it.
I seen you get punched in the back of the head at Buffalo BJJ.
Yeah. Well, maybe I shouldn't have sparred somebody that was 200 pounds. And, yeah, that was the only really major concussion that I've had. But I did get hit in the back of the head. And,
Yeah. And he was proud of it, too.
That I ducked into a big looping overhand right?
That he knocked you down.
Oh, man, that was crazy. Yeah. I got a pretty good chin, though. I think I'm pretty hard to... It's pretty hard to do that.
Yeah, you're tough to train with sometimes. You're a little crazy.
Yeah.
You're not the most sane person to train with.
If I was sane, would I be doing this sport at all?
No. So you beat up your partners pretty good. So people complain, but it's all right. I mean, that's how you get there sometimes. I just want to, bring it up for all the people that you beat up over the years. That Val's a little rough to train with. So when you sign on to train with Val, know that, even when you're drilling, you're gonna get socked in the face or armbarred or something's gonna get broke on you. But that's just Val.
Well, that just happens when I'm training MMA, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm pretty gentle with jiu-jitsu, though. I do teach, now it's 4 women's jiu-jitsu classes a week. And I promise you, there is no beating up going on there.
So some shameless caveman plugs where you're doing your training at. Put it out there and how you can sign up for any of the locations because you train in 2 gyms, right? So you got it going on at Lake Effect and Booma, right?
Yep. And actually 3 locations. I'm also at Casey's Fitness.
Oh, awesome. Yep.
Yep.
So plug them all.
All right. So first foremost, I suppose, is BUMA. That's Buffalo United Martial Arts. And that is Professor Josh Ketchery's gym that he runs along with Larry Backless, who's also a black belt in BJJ, and Keith Forant, who is a brown belt in BJJ, and the only certified crew in Muay Thai in the area, to my knowledge. He's a great coach. They're all great coaches, great atmosphere.
Keith's also a MMA fighter, been a TNT champ. He's been an FCP champ, fought in all the local promotions. He's been a Muay Thai champ, so always got to put Keith out there. He's a great guy. Keith's one of my best friends. If you listen to podcasts, you know it, but I always got to give him big shouts. And he's recovering from another surgery on his broken jaw, so best wishes to Keith.
Yeah, he'd be a fun guy to have on the show right about now.
Trail mix. God, trail mix. Sorry, Keith.
He's a great coach. Right now, as far as MMA goes, like, he's my go-to guy because he's been there, he's done that, he has so much experience. He's a very observant coach. He watches his students very closely and just always has such great feedback for them.
I didn't mean to interrupt your flow so you can get girls to come to your programs.
Oh, yeah.
So finish putting out your plugs on how to get there.
All right. So
BUMA's located at Riverworks, 330 Ganson Street. Make sure you right 330.
I think it's like 359. It's right.
It's
near,
in the Riverworks. You can't miss it.
Yeah.
It's at Riverworks. It's right by the Cheerios plant.
Yeah, the
So
General
if you smell
Mills.
Cheerios, you're in the right place. Make sure you go to Riverworks. When you go in, you walk all the way. You see the restaurant straight ahead. Turn to your right and go all the way down the hall. BUMA's located down there. Do you know the phone number over there?
Not offhand. But for the women's classes, I have them twice a week. On Mondays from 5:30 until 6:30, and on Saturdays from 8:30 until 9:30. And these women's classes are special in that they're totally exclusively women's only, no men allowed. We don't even let guys come in the same room. Like, it's a safe space for women, which is pretty cool in the world of martial arts. So
Right. Are Mustafa's girls there right now?
Yes, they are. And I was just training with them last night. They were beating me up. We were wrestling, and
Them girls are tough. You probably don't
They're
want to wrestle with them.
insane.
They'll break your leg off.
I'm telling you.
Goddamn. I'm
they're
trying to get
something
Mustafa
else.
on the show too. I'm not sure I got a chair that can hold him, but I definitely want to get him on the podcast too. Mustafa, when you come on, you might need your own chair though. I'm not sure these these are not the high quality chairs that you're probably used to at your work. This is like $100,000 studio with maybe $100 chairs, so probably it's holding Val pretty good, but I'm not sure it's gonna hold you up, my friend. You might have to stand on your crutch.
Oh, jeez. Poor guy. He just had surgery,
He
too.
just had the surgery finally?
Yeah.
Good.
A lot of injuries floating around.
Yeah. Well, he hasn't had an ACL forever, dude. Can you imagine how much strain it puts on your hips when you're training? He's so fast and so big. Anyways, that's a great place to go if you're a Muslim faith, if there's no girls at all in the gym. You want to plug Lake Effect?
Yeah, absolutely. So Lake Effect Martial Arts is a studio that just started last year, about the springtime.
They're in a Cobra Wrestling facility, right?
Yes, they are, right in Cheektowaga.
Yeah, so they're at the Wegmans Plaza on Dick and George Urban,
Yes.
right there. So they're in the back. They're located just past where Hills used to be.
Yeah.
There's
Right next to Oogie Games.
Yeah, right next to Oogie Games. You can't miss it.
Yeah. So that place is great, and the head coach there is Professor Mike Katilis, and that gym is purely Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. They do both gi and no gi, but they don't have Muay Thai or boxing or anything like that. But it's a very good competitive Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu school. It's very friendly. It's a small location now. We're moving into a bigger one, but it's great. The energy there, you can't beat it. That's where I go to get my hardcore rolls in when I'm preparing for a BJJ competition. We've got a lot of colored belts, a lot of guys interested in competition. But if you're just a casual practitioner of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, it's also a great place. people aren't going to try to rip your head off on your first day or anything. It's very friendly to beginners as well, and to women. We have a women's class there at Lake Effect Martial Arts on Saturdays from 10 o'clock until 10:45.
Well, you're busy driving all over the place on Saturdays.
Oh, yeah.
Holy cow.
Oh, yeah. I got that little time crunch, so
Do you have a number for there?
I do not.
Ah, man, this is...
I know.
When we post this, Val, we'll put the phone numbers up into the comment section on YouTube. So make sure you subscribe to this channel if you're listening. Subscribe and watch these shows. And in the comment section, we will get the information out that we're putting. We'll also get the right addresses since we're not so good with addresses. But if you know where the Cheerios plant is and you know where Riverworks, you can just search Riverworks. It's super easy to find. If you go to Wegmans, the Lake Effect's super easy to find. And lastly, teach at KC Fitness. Why don't you talk about that?
Okay, so Casey's Fitness is actually on, I think it's Gelston Street, it's called. It's just off of Niagara, kind of where that Resurgence Brewing Company is. And Casey's Fitness is more of a boxing gym. They also have a really great and interesting catch wrestling program.
Who runs that program? Is that Boyd?
That's Corey Norman,
Oh, okay,
actually.
okay. Boyd's over at WTF, right?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure he's over at WTF.
Okay.
All right. Boyd's
I've
another
never
good
been
guy
there.
from the old days. He's a little rough. If you're his training partner, he's probably going to hurt you, but he knows what the fuck he's talking about. He's a good guy. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you about KC Fitness.
No, it's...
Gotta get more shameless plugs out. That's my
Yeah,
deal.
shameless plugs. Yeah, Casey's is great. So that's where I do a lot of my boxing. I do they're actually MMA classes, and that's where we do a lot of the catch wrestling. Ton of conditioning. I get my kettlebell workout in there. I do pretty much all my strength and conditioning workout in there. But the women's class there is no-gi, and it's on Tuesdays from 6 p.m. until 7 p.m. And right after that women's class is one of Corey's great, crazy MMA classes. So a lot of the women stick around for that as well.
For that class, do you need to join the gym, or is it just a membership for your class?
You do need to join the gym for that.
Okay. So that won't, if you go to Casey's Fitness, you better fucking go to that class if you're a chick. Or a girl, I'm sorry. And if you're not, it'd probably be better to check out the other places, right?
Yeah. Well, actually, Casey's has a very high female population. As far as the boxing classes have a lot of women, they're actually preparing a lot of women for the Golden Gloves.
Riverworks. It's going to be at Riverworks this year. Don't miss it.
I won't. I'll just ride my bike down there.
Another shameless Caveman plug.
Yeah.
Caveman likes Riverworks.
So it's really neat, and it's really neat being able to not only teach at these 3 different gyms, but also to be able to train at these 3 different gyms with these 3 different types of coaches and types of training partners that have different kinds of knowledge and experience that they can bring to the table.
This is great. I kind of set you up for this. I didn't really mean to do it, but the way it worked out is like perfect. So you went from Victory and Buffalo BJJ. We went to Western New York MMA. Obviously had a falling out there.
Yeah.
So now you're traveling all over the world, which is like perfect for your personality. I mean, you've been to Japan, you've been to Hawaii, you married a Japanese guy that doesn't really speak English so good. But he's a good guy, big power lifter guy.
He's getting better.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's learning.
When the first time I talked with him, I could not really understand what he was saying. Like, I could get the gist of what he was saying, but like...
The gist, Captain.
The gist.
Okay.
I talk funny because I get hit a lot and stuff. Yeah, the gist of what he was saying. Do you guys have communication problems?
No. I mean, kind of sometimes. I mean, I think we have the same amount of communication problems as a native English-speaking couple might.
Right, the boy-girl problem, not like the English to Japanese problem.
Yeah, because I speak Japanese as well. I majored in Japanese in my undergrad. I speak it rather fluently. That's what brought me out to Japan. I taught out there for a little while.
How do you say pussies are tougher than balls in Japanese?
Oh, shit. How would I say that? I think it's manko is pussy. Yeah. Manko no hou ga tsuyoi yo.
All right. So, Toro, when you listen to this, I need is that the correct way to say it? And if it's not, the correct way to say it. And you can just call that and leave it on my message, and I'll play it on the next podcast. Because I think that would be a great opening to the show.
Oh my gosh.
We'll play
I
the
love
Captain
it.
Caveman, and I'll play that.
Or you could say, 金玉とマンコと比べるとマンコの方が強いです。
I can't
That's
say
more
it,
proper.
but I can copy and paste it and
Okay,
play
there
it.
you go. There you go. That more translates to, if you compare pussy and balls, the pussy is stronger.
Gotcha. That's perfect. Actually, I might actually put that in the show. So we came from Western New York MMA, and you had some problems there. I'm still at the gym there now.
Mm-hmm.
When you left a whole cadre of training partners. And,
Yeah, that was tough.
That's probably the one place in Western New York to be training MMA. So you left there, and now you're traveling from gym to gym to gym. How was the transition to leaving a gym where you have everything you need in one spot to traveling all over to train?
Well, the thing is, I wasn't really getting everything that I needed in one spot. And that's really why I left. I wasn't really getting what I needed as a fighter. I felt like maybe it was a little overcrowded with fighters that I just
you can say
I
whatever
wasn't
you don't,
getting.
you don't have to be polite. Well, this is a podcast, so you can say whatever you're feeling. You don't have to like put it in the right terms. Just, you know what I mean? You can say whatever you want. I won't be offended. I had Dub on. We talked about you. I don't know if you listened to that one.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, so you can say whatever you want to say. Like, I'm bringing you on. You can say your side of the story, too. I'm not here selling the gym. I think the gym sells itself. So if you want to fight, it's probably the place to be in Western New York, at least in my opinion. But I want other people to be exposed to your lifestyle, too, and how you went and you trained, and give you your fair share to talk, too.
Okay. Well, first of all, I was going to Buffalo United Martial Arts just to train, and I covered classes for a little bit, and Dub didn't like that so much, and
Dub is the owner of Western New York MMA.
he called up my friend and said some nasty things, and I didn't like that sort of possessiveness about what I was doing with my own life and where I was training on my own time. I didn't think that was very fair, and it wasn't a good environment for me. I know that you might not agree with this, but I do think that the gym has a drug problem. Drugs get peddled in that gym, and I don't think it's very clean either. It's just such a big space, and it's not really being professionally cleaned. I mean, you asked me to.
No, keep
you
going.
know what I mean? And
I'm gonna fire back on some stuff, and we're gonna make it
Okay.
interesting. But I want you to get your stuff out.
Okay, I really didn't want to make this like political.
No, it's not
either,
political.
but
It's not political at all. It's just us talking, really.
yeah, and I don't think it's the best place to be for women either. I felt like I wasn't necessarily being respected as much as my male counterparts. And I didn't need that kind of negativity in my life. And I knew that it was a big step to make to get away from these amazing, incredible fighters that I was working with all the time. And some of my best friends in the world train there still. 2 of my bridesmaids who were at my wedding still train there. And of course I miss working with them. But it just, I didn't like the way that I was being treated. I didn't think I was being treated fairly. So I left. I mean, some people say, oh, well, you know, why do you just complain about stuff and don't do anything about it? And all this talk about, you know, people who are snowflakes and they're not, you know, taking action. They're just talk. Well, I'm all action. So I just did immediately what my heart decided, and I left.
Do you think that's hurt you as a fighter?
I don't think it has. I think it's improved me as a fighter. I think that branching out and diversifying my game with some very interesting gems throughout Western New York that I never had the chance to work with before. People like Corey Norman, who I have learned a lot from. working more closely with Keith Forant and not having to secretly hide away to get some rounds in hitting pads. Like at Western New York, I couldn't get anybody to hit pads that had a lot of experience. You would hit pads for me, but I mean, you were so preoccupied with the kids program.
I got a lot of
too,
stuff
you
going
know
on.
What I mean?
But I did hold pads for you.
Yeah, you did hold pads for me. But like, I needed somebody like Keith who could just give that kind of instant feedback and work with me like so closely. I didn't really have anybody like that at WNY, and it was pretty tough. I mean, the coaches from Victory were some of the best coaches that I've ever had in my life. Don Lilly taught me how to wrestle. Tommy Neff taught me how to box. Eric Herbert taught me more about MMA than probably any one individual throughout my whole fight career. So it has hurt me in that I can't work with them anymore, but it got to a point where I couldn't even get Tommy to hold pads for me anymore. I mean, he has some amazing boxers that he's working with now, though. So maybe it would have still happened if we had just stayed at Victory. Who knows? I know Eric's pretty busy now, too. He puts a lot of time into the gym and a lot of time into his fighters, but there's a lot of fighters there, too. So I needed a little bit more kind of one-on-one. I have some very serious goals in MMA, and at the time I had some serious goals in MMA, and I felt like I wasn't getting the attention that I needed and thought I had earned.
Do you feel like you're getting that attention that you need now, and do you have enough sparring partners now?
Yes, and yes. I do travel a bit. Last summer, actually, I spent a week over at Jeff Jocelyn's and just went there 2-a-days every day. It was awesome. Sparring partners, I do have a lot of really good sparring partners at Booma and at Casey's Fitness. Some of these guys have never fought before, but some of them have. I think it's great.
Awesome. I got a lot to say about this. I'm not trying to personally attack you, so I'm not sure how much I really want to get into here. Or maybe we can talk about some more personally too. But I would say, for you personally, I think that maybe leaving was probably the best thing for you, because you're such an emotional fighter that you need the positive emotional support, and you need that just feeling around you. What I worry about you leaving is that you don't have one solid set of coaches. You're kind of taking it all upon yourself. And at times you're going to have that feeling like, what the fuck is going on? Because this is what I did in my pro career too. Is I was training with Keith. I was training at Buffalo BJJ. I was training at Victory. I was training in Jamestown. So I was driving all over the place all the time. And when it was fight time, every corner kind of had a little bit of different game plan. I'm sure you're running into that now.
Yeah.
And at the amateur level where you're great, you're probably a better athlete than any one of these girls that you're going to fight. That it's really not that big of a deal for you, because you're going to go in there and be physically superior to almost every one of these women that you're in there. When you go in there with Cassandra Durant, she's a great fighter, but she's not Val Asspaas. You're going to go in there and you're a better fighter than her. You're a better athlete than her. You're going to hit harder than her.
Huh?
Maybe she beats you. Maybe she doesn't beat you. I mean, it's a fight, because you go in there and you're fighting because no one knows who's going to win. If you knew who was going to win, you wouldn't have to go in there and fight. But I'm just saying, you have the physical advantage. You're a bigger girl, you're a stronger girl, you're a better athlete, you're a better wrestler. You hit harder. She's probably a better technical striker than you. You're definitely going to hit harder. You're definitely a better wrestler. You're definitely better on the ground. So you have every advantage going into this fight. And that's what's going to happen pretty much to everyone you fight in the amateurs. Your overall game is going to be better than any single girl that you fight, probably, because your striking, while it's not the prettiest thing in the world,
You got some ugly striking.
it's effective. And it's hard. I mean, you hit hard. You hit like a dude. It's no fucking lie. At 125, you probably hit like a 125-pound dude. It's not pretty, but it works. Your kicking needs work, but you're with the right person to work on it. You know what I mean? Keith is going to fix your kicking. Your wrestling, it's okay. I know who you're working with wrestling, so I know it's going to get better. And, you know, that's part of what's going around. That's another coach that's going to have a different opinion.
Yeah.
And he's running into some of the same problems as you, too. And your jiu-jitsu is going to be off the chain, because you are I think the best way to train jiu-jitsu is to do what you're doing, going all around. Well, I don't think it's the best for MMA. I think it's the best way to improve in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And to speak up for Dub in a couple different things, you were a coach for him, so I can understand why he does have a problem with you going around and going to other gyms and helping coach, because it does put you in situations like the one where you were in, where you ended up coaching Alex Carroll against Jesus Christ, Nick Phelps.
Yeah.
You know what I
that
mean?
was how it all started. That was when I was at WNY still, and I think that's when people started to mistrust me. But honestly, Alex, like, I've known him. I knew him from when I worked at Pearl Street Grill and Brewery. And
Which is owned by Josh Ketry, who also owns Booma. So Pearl Street is a great place to go and eat. My family loves it. The brisket
Good
there
beer.
is crazy. The beer is great. The wings are okay. They could use a little bit more wings for the price, but
Yeah.
Caveman's a connoisseur of the wings, so it's a great place to go check out. I'm sorry, continue.
No worries.
Shameless Caveman plug. Josh Ketry, please come on the podcast.
Yeah. So I was actually still in Japan, getting ready to come back to the U.S. So that I could pursue my goals with training and working a little bit more closely with my friends like Josh and my friends at WNY, because at the time I was with WNY. And he texted me and asked me if I could coach him. I think it was going to be his first fight or his second fight. The kid wasn't training. I kind of just did it as a favor. I was thinking, it's just
I actually wrapped his hands for that fight.
Yeah, because I don't know how to wrap hands. And, he just texted me, hey, well, I didn't even really think anything
I've cornered
of
him
it.
4 times now.
Yeah, well, there you go. See, you've cornered him, too. Are you getting the same flack that I did for it?
I didn't corner him against our guys, that's why.
Yeah, well, come on. We all knew that Nick was going to smash him.
Right.
Okay? But,
Alex Carroll, get the fuck to a gym. God damn it.
Alex, come to Booma. I will coach you again. Just please, or somewhere. But
I hooked him up with Angel Ortiz, dude.
Yeah.
He lives like 4 blocks from Lackawanna Boxing Gym.
Yeah.
Walk your fucking fat ass over there and get in there and fucking train with the guy. He'll take care of you. He's someone you can trust, man. Trust me.
You're
I wouldn't
already
set you up to
tough.
fail.
Like,
'Cause you could
could
fight,
do
dude.
This. Like,
All right. That's all I got to say about Alex
yeah.
Carroll.
Anyway, I thought that, if I didn't coach Alex, I thought maybe Nick wouldn't have an opponent then either. And I thought that would suck,
He would go in there with just his girlfriend coaching him, I'm telling you.
I don't know about that.
He almost did. He would have done it at Ground Force Fights if I wasn't there.
Yeah.
Where I got to choke out Whitman. We're going to talk about Whitman in a second. So.
Oh. Great. But yeah, so I think that's kind of when it started, and people started thinking that they couldn't trust me or whatever. That was what Dub was whispering in my ear anyway, that people weren't trusting me because I was going to train other places.
There's a great mistrust in fighting because it is like a gang mentality. It's your gang against the other gang. And that's kind of how...
It doesn't have to be that way, though. And that's not how it is at Lake Effect Martial Arts. That's not how it is at Booma, and that's not how it is at Casey's Fitness either.
I think
They don't see it as a
fighting
gang.
is different than martial arts, though. And I think that's where the divide is. I think the jiu-jitsu divide... while that happened at WNY, I kind of understand that more than the MMA guys are going to, because it is you going in there and you could not come out of the cage. It's different than jiu-jitsu. When you go into jiu-jitsu, you got a broken arm, but you're coming out of it. If someone chokes you, they're gonna stop it. In MMA, you could be dead. They could slam your head through the mat. They could punch your face out.
Yeah.
You could get changed forever going into the cage.
That's true.
And it's a little bit different mentality. And I ran into the same problem as well. I'm great friends with Keith. Bubba fought Keith.
Right.
And at that time, I was going to not go to the gym at all when Bubba was training, just so he would feel comfortable that I wasn't going to report what's going on with Keith. Keith is my best friend, and Bubba was at the gym I was training at. And that was a tough spot to be in, and that's a spot that you get put into when you're training all over the place. And that's a spot that's going to happen to you again.
Yeah.
Because sooner or later, someone from Lake Effect or someone from Casey Fitness is going to fight someone from Booma, and you're going to be torn again. And it's going to happen to you over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
That's something I'm scared for you for mentally, and then you're going to lose a gym probably in the whole process because of the way you internalize everything. And it's not a bad thing. It's just who you are. That's why I understand you leaving Western New York MMA. Like, it hurt me because I love training with you, and now I train with you a lot less. And everyone knows I'm still going to train with you whenever I can. Whenever you're not fighting someone from our gym, I'll always be in your corner, and I'm always there to help you. And that's how it is for me with a lot of people I train with. But at the same point, you do need to have a home gym. You know, the guys I train with are always going to come first, but, you know, you're always part of my family. You come over to my house now, and I have you over still all the time.
Yeah.
And my wife loves you. I love you. You know, you're part of my fight family, and you always will be. That's just kind of the problems with traveling all over. Because, obviously, guys from Crew Mark's gym were fighting guys from the gym I was at, you know. Because Josh Roth fought the guy from Victory. Remember when he fought, oh, gee, I can't think of his name. The giant, huge black guy. How racist does that sound? And I can't think of his name right now. He's huge. He had the thing on his ear.
Oh, shit. Oh, my gosh.
You can't think of his name either, can you?
No, because I haven't seen him in so long. I get hit in the head so much.
I know. He's been gone for a long time. I'll think of his name later.
I can think of his face.
I see his face right now, too. But anyways, there's two guys from the two gyms I train at fighting each other.
Yeah.
And it's tough.
Yeah. I know, as a matter of fact, I already know that some of the girls that I coach in jiu-jitsu are going to be competing against each other probably in the Buffalo Classic tournament in May, which is going to be awesome.
Riverworks. It's going to be outside.
That's going to be really cool.
My team's going to come in and smash your team.
Hey, man. Just let the smashing begin.
I think
I'm all about it.
We should have a super fight.
We should have a super fight?
Me and you.
We should have a prehistoric super fight.
Yeah, the Velociraptor versus Caveman.
Yeah.
What do we think, 35? If I make 35, is that fair?
Yeah, totally.
Right.
If you can make it to 35, same day weigh-ins, I'm all about it.
All right. Catchery, make it happen.
Yeah. Sounds good to me.
All right. You heard it right here. The first female-male jiu-jitsu challenge is going on. Speaking of that, we'll get to a little bit less serious topic. What do you think about David Whitman? He's coming on the podcast in a couple of weeks to promote Ground Force Fights.
How is he? Does he, like, he is a fly hanging around a pride of lions. Like, I don't understand. Like, he doesn't train. He's not good. He just runs his mouth. I don't get it.
Do you know I grappled him, right?
Yeah.
At the Ground Force Fights? I choked him?
Damn near murdered the kid.
Is it true or is it not true that you beat him up in the cage at Victory?
It is true. We were grappling. I got him in a body lock, which is, if you are unfamiliar with it, it's when you have somebody's back and you cross their legs over their body.
It's like aggressive cuddling.
Yeah, basically, it's just aggressive cuddling. And I was, when you do it, you put a lot of pressure on the person's torso. Now, apparently, David Whitman could not take the pain in his torso and tapped out. So that happened.
He did say he would beat you on that giant Facebook thing that was going on forever.
Yeah, oh, no, totally. Square up, pussy.
Yeah.
Put your hands up. I would totally fight him. First male-female MMA fight? Bring it on.
He also owes the Mohammed Abed, who he just had on earlier, he owes him about $500 in ticket money, too.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. So, but he's going to come on the show.
People.
Him and
Just
Schultz
not
might
good
actually
people.
box or kickbox. This in the works for the next lace-up.
Schultz doesn't train boxing, I thought?
He has 2 wins by knockout in MMA.
That is a matchup mystery.
Well, who do you think wins that fight?
Whitman versus Schultz?
In the stand-up fight.
In a stand-up fight?
Probably boxing. They were talking about boxing. It all started in Dante's thing, and they were talking about boxing.
That is just
So
bizarre.
it came from boxing.
Like, I don't know how I feel about that. Like, I'm intrigued, but I just have absolutely no idea what that would look like.
I think it would look pretty cool. I would definitely buy a ticket for that lace-up promotions fight if it happens.
Yeah, me too. I would have to see that.
So Amir Abdallah, make that happen.
Yeah, Amir Abdallah, make that happen.
February 4th, there's also a lace-up fight. Same day that you're fighting, so you're going to miss it. I'll probably be at this show, too, so I'll probably miss the lace-up show. But Mark Murray, one of the persons I had on a podcast, I'm going to actually attach his podcast to this one. He's fighting February 4th. Also on that card, Superfly's dad is fighting Mung Fo.
Mung Fo?
Yeah, I'm not exactly 100% sure I'm saying his name correctly. But he's the guy that trains Evander Russ. Evander Russ and Superfly fought at TNT.
Okay.
So The teacher and the father are going to fight now. It's a great storyline for a fight.
That's like a Rocky movie.
It is like a Rocky movie. And they're both older guys. They're both in their 50s, I believe. 40s, 50s.
Yeah.
So it's going to be great. And Monk Fo, like, I always want to say, like, Mofo. But I'm not sure how to say this guy's name. I'm sure I'm murdering it. But he's an awesome guy. And he talks like Mr. Miyagi.
Sweet.
So it is super ass cool. Like when Evander fought Superfly, like I seriously spent probably while I was researching Superfly's opponent, I probably spent 3 hours watching interviews with Meng Fo.
Awesome.
Like I'm so excited for this fight, and I just did the rounds for the first time with Superfly's dad at the gym on Friday.
Great.
So it's gonna be a great fight. Make sure you guys check that one out too. That one's far away, so make sure if you're in the Rochester, Western New York area, you come check out Val fighting and get some tickets from her.
Yeah.
Like thousands of dollars of tickets. You got anything else coming up, Val?
Well, I'm trying to make my pro debut. I've been in contact with lots of promoters. My fight manager actually got hired by the state, so I've been kind of nosing around myself, and it's not fun trying to be your own manager.
You definitely need a manager.
King of the Cage said they didn't have anything for me. I've been trying to I actually signed a contract, professional contract last September with the New England Fights out of Maine, NEF.
NEF, I'm sorry, yeah, NEF.
There you go. But the fight fell through a week beforehand. My opponent pulled out.
That girl was tough. She fought Invicta, too.
Yeah.
That would have been a good matchup.
Yeah.
I'm glad that fell through because we didn't get any time to work.
I don't know. I thought it would have been a good fight for me.
Yeah.
She was moving up a weight class to fight me. Not a good idea.
No. You're going to fight 25 pro, too, right?
Yeah. 115 is just too dramatic. 25, I feel pretty at home. It's not too bad of a cut most of the time. And just got a really good system down for it. But I'm in contact with some promoters, so, hopefully I'll be able to make an announcement pretty soon, hopefully before the summer. I'm also going to be competing in the IBJJF Worlds this year in California. Hopefully
You got a GoFundMe or anything for that going on yet?
Not this time. I'm going to try to do it myself.
All right. If there's any sponsors out there who are interested in sponsoring a woman, Val is definitely a way to go. She's going to get your name out there for sure.
Do my best to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're going to get you you need to get a manager.
Yeah.
Keith's
I need
not
a
going to manage you?
manager. I need somebody to just be on a Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, social media thing that just posts stuff for me, because all I post is pictures of food and cats. And I need I don't know how these other guys and gals are doing it, but I'm not doing it the right way.
Yeah, you need to find a manager you trust and get your shit together. Get out there.
Yeah, thanks, Caveman. I'll make
For
sure
real.
I get my shit together.
No, I mean you got your life together. I mean you're fighting shit together.
Yeah.
No, you do the ladies seminars too. Do you have anything coming up there?
Yeah, actually, well, we don't have anything planned yet for the new year. But last year we had 4 women's only Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu seminars. They were all free to attend. They were taught by me and Patricia Vandermeer, who is a judo black belt and a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu brown belt, and just an excellent competitor. She's actually in Australia right now at some crazy jiu-jitsu training camp.
That's not a knife. This is a knife.
Yeah. So her, and then we've had rotating third guests. The one we had in fall, we actually did with my former opponent from a fight, Elizabeth Vanderhorst, and that was really cool. We've had them with, most recently, we had one in Canada, and Fariba Akbar co-taught with us. She's a very high rank. She's a brown belt with 4 stripes on, and one of those ratty looking.
Hey, I got
belts.
a stripe. I got
You know
a
what
stripe
I'm
on my
saying?
brown belt.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still want to get Cameron. I'm glad of this purple, brown, and black at the Buffalo Classic.
I think a lot of people are glad that it's purple, brown, black at the Buffalo Classic.
Is it? Is it really? They're gonna make purple in there now too? That's what
I
Antonio was talking about. So I hope that happens.
cannot say for sure, but I think it would be very interesting if they did.
I was just trying to stir up the pot, and then you were like, "Yeah." So I was like, "Oh,
Yeah,
Josh,
let's-
maybe I'll check it out."
let's stir that pot up. Let's see that happen. I think that would be great. I mean, it's like that for the women anyway.
I kind of
know?
think I do agree with some of the black belts might not be interested in losing to a purple belt though.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, it might keep some of the people from coming.
you could probably do like an absolutes division.
I
that's
think-
like
I think
that,
that's
and
the
then they
answer.
can have their own.
No
the
weight
black belts
class.
can have a black belt division, but
Right.
additionally, we can have this crazy like
No weight
free
class,
for all, like,
no belt level.
Thunderdome.
Just go in there, yeah. Just go
Yeah.
in there and compete.
Yeah.
Men and women together. It's raining cats and dogs. Whatever you identify as, you come in and you compete. It doesn't matter. All in one division.
I think that would be very interesting. I'm very excited for this year. Actually, they're teaming up with the
AmCam.
the AmCan Judo tournament. So it's going to be a 2-day tournament now with the Judo tournament, and I think that's just going to be super interesting. There's going to be acai there, courtesy of
That's Jao, right?
yeah
Jao with the
Joao.
acai.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's
Who's also judo black belt and a killer guy.
awesome.
He's at Lake Effect now?
He's at Lake Effect. Yes.
Yeah, he's a cool guy.
Yeah,
even
he's
if he's
a
at
good
Lake
dude.
Effect. I'm just kidding.
You should come train sometime on Friday nights with us.
Friday nights are tough.
There's
but
an open mat there every Friday night at
you guys,
5:30.
You guys need a Sunday open mat. You get everyone over there.
Yeah, well. Where were you yesterday? Oh,
Where-
no. Yesterday was Saturday. My
Yesterday was
bad.
Saturday. Yesterday I was doing kids club and I did some work with Danny Ray.
Okay.
He's a referee.
How's he doing?
Good.
Good.
Yeah, he's learning some jiu-jitsu.
That's good.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Good.
I'm going to have him on the show too.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're going to talk about refereeing stuff.
Very cool.
And that oh shit moment when it happens, I'm going to be there and make fun of him for it.
He was there at the very first TNT.
Yeah, he's a good ref. One of the best refs that I've worked with in a long time.
Yep.
So he's trying to get his ABC license now so he can ref. With the legalization of MMA, he has to go through the program. So that's
Yeah.
why he hasn't been reffing lately. But he's going to go through the program next month,
Mm-hmm.
and he's going to be back reffing soon. So it'll be great. I got a lot of shit going on, Val. I got podcasts. I got all kinds of stuff. But I always make a little bit of time for you.
Oh, thanks, Caveman.
For sure. With that, we're going to wrap up. We got a hard stop in 2 minutes anyways. So thank you very, very much for coming on. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your candidness to talk about how you feel. Hopefully you don't feel like I threw you under the bus a little bit. But I want to talk about like stuff that's going on. It's important to you, you know what I mean? And it should be out there. Especially since I talked about you before, you should go back and listen to. You should listen to it before you came on. You'd be like, "Motherfucker, what did you say about me?" I just said the same thing I said to you, though. I think like when you own a gym, you want to protect your property, and as a coach, you kind of are the property of the gym.
See, I don't like
points.
that. I'm a person. I'm not property. So that was a really big thing for me. I didn't like that.
Right. I mean, it's just a opinion about how it works, and you know, we're obviously. I don't want to even get into the Republican Democrat thing. I was gonna do that, and then I just couldn't do
Don't
it.
even go there.
I know I couldn't do it.
You don't want to go there.
Yeah, I don't want to hurt Eric Herbert's feelings, so I couldn't go there.
Still love you, Eric.
Yeah, I just want to, you know, because that was a big thing too that was going on in the gym, the Republican Democrat thing, and like
Well-
you were very upset by like a lot of people because of like their political views.
Well, a specific incident that had happened, I was waiting for my husband to be approved to come over.
See, I think you're wrong on this topic, but keep going. This is the one I think we should be on the same side about.
Okay, well, I was waiting for my husband to be approved to come to the United States. So we were apart. So it was kind of tough for me. And I had been injured. This was like last year, about this time last year actually. And I came in one day to work with somebody that I trust, that I knew wasn't going to mess up my knee injury that was awaiting surgery. I had surgery last February actually on one of my knees, but you know how fighters
Val went
are.
in there,
Just-
and she went in there. She fought with a bad knee. She ended up getting hurt in the Fighter Source tournament, and that's how she hurt her knee. But she fought through it, came through 3 hard rounds.
yeah, it
one
probably
of the
looks like a
things-
terrible fight.
Dude, I'd like to see anyone else fight on one leg besides for Eric Herbert, who did fight on one leg one time.
Yeah, he did. That's who I got it from. That's what I was thinking of when I was out there. I thought, Eric could do it. I'm going to do it too. It probably wasn't a good decision. Anyway.
No, we're not the best decision makers.
Yeah. Anyway, I was working with somebody that I had trusted, and somebody came into the gym and put their iPod on the radio, and it just started blasting this anti-immigrant rhetoric. And I don't know if it was a commercial or part of a talk show or what, but it was very irksome, and it felt very uncomfortable. And this same individual had said,
who was it?
Nasty things.
We name names on this show.
I'm not going to name names. I'm not going to do that. Not in this situation. But this guy.
What's his name sound like?
I'm not. Come on, Caveman. I don't want to be a dick.
Rock
Any more
Roner?
than I already have been. I already feel like I've been kind of a dick talking publicly about issues that had previously been private that you pried out of me to make this talk show a little bit more interesting, a little bit spicier.
That's what I do.
So now that all of my little Raptor secrets have been revealed.
I don't reveal all the Raptor secrets. I know a lot more than I didn't say. More than I didn't say.
Well, anyway, this particular individual had also said really, really nasty, derogatory things about his teammates on the mat, like talking over the instructor while white belts and impressionable kids are watching. That was really the moment. Those were the moments that really defined my decision to leave. That sort of just, not just discomfort, but just facing that kind of hatred in a place where I do this sport because I love it, and I want to be surrounded by positivity as much as I possibly can be. And at that gym, it was just negativity. That's where it was going. And it wasn't always like that. I think that maybe after I left, it might have gotten better. I've heard things that it might have gotten better after a lot of people left that gym because of that sort of negativity. But I didn't want to be there anymore.
Well, that's not where I was going with this, but that turned out pretty good. That's some good radio. I was just talking about the illegal immigrant issue. Like, I have no problem with legal immigrants because that's the same thing that we've always done. You know, my wife, I went through the exact same thing you're going through. I was hurt. My wife was about to leave the country, and we had to get through all the legal stuff. And that's why I always thought you'd be on board with me with the illegal immigrants.
No, I do think
that
they absolutely need to go through it and check the documents and be very, very, very thorough. And oh my God, I don't know how some of these people, like the San Bernardino shooters, how the hell did they get in this country? Like the government looked at my bank records for years, which was embarrassing because I had that bank account since I was like 22, and you don't make good financial decisions when you're 22.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I know.
But it was
I went through all the same
there.
stuff.
Yeah, it was all out there. They had every bit of information on my husband that they could. And I know that that's for the safety of the country. I think that's a very good thing. But at the same time, I think that if a child is born on U.S. soil, that child should be a U.S. citizen. Like,
what if
that's
they're
just
two
how it should be.
illegal immigrants?
If they come, even then, they should still be able to grow up here. They shouldn't be wrenched away and thrown back to wherever they came from.
What do you say about the people that like illegally cross the border to have babies here?
I don't think that's a thing, though.
It is
I think
a thing,
that's
though.
more of a
It does
myth.
happen. No, it's
like
not.
These
it
people
does happen.
Like, these people are fleeing from violence and terrorism and the same things that we're fighting. They're fleeing from the war on drugs. Like, all these people coming in from Syria, they're fleeing from this horrible, horrible humanitarian conflict. Like,
what about the one of them that's a
disaster.
terrorist in that 400?
Well, there hasn't been one yet.
Yeah. I'm just fucking with you, really. I'm
Let's
being
look
that
at-
guy.
Let's look at all of the American-born mass shooters in this country. we have a problem with terrorism in our own country.
That Superfly's guy. We're looking at my phone right now. Monk Fo was doing some. It looked like he was doing elbow crawls. Now he's doing some other stuff.
All right, we're taking a step away from the politics. I think that's a good idea too.
We're slowing it down. Monk Fo is teaching right now.
Let me see this Mung Fo.
Yeah. That mofo, he's a tough dude, man. I like it.
Mung Fo.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's Chinese or Korean.
I don't know. You should watch some stuff on him, though.
Ah, neat.
Lace Up's going to be good. That's a great
What's he
fight.
got a black belt in? He's got a black belt around his waist.
I don't know. I think maybe Japanese jiu-jitsu or karate or kung fu or
Okay.
something. Yeah, that Vander Russ is a blue belt. He's not bad. He's just a fat guy.
Neat.
Keith almost fought him at TNT.
Yeah?
That's the guy that almost had the heart attack because he had to cut 22 pounds.
Jesus.
Yeah. For 70, even though he fought Superfly at 55.
Oh my gosh.
But he didn't make weight for that fight either.
Wow.
Yeah.
Telling
All right,
ya.
we got to wrap up, Val.
All right.
But I want to thank you very much for coming. And when you come back after you sign that pro contract, so I'm going to sign Val to a pro contract soon so we can get her back in here.
Sounds good.
All right, and we're going to get out of here. We got hard stop right now. That was good. You did good.
I don't know. I was not prepared for that.
Ah,
I
I
thought
got
we were
you.
just going to talk about fighting.
We were. But then you
Oh
started
my
getting into it. It was
gosh.
good.
You brought it up. I didn't want to talk about all that stuff about leaving Dub's gym and stuff.
That's
And
good
you
because
know
I'm
that.
still recording it.
Huh?